I love sharing time-saving hacks and devices and stuff that will make your lives so much easier in general practice. And in this episode, I'm going to share with you a device that has been so impactful, it may actually have the moniker of the best time-saving device in general practice. We're talking about the KeyQwik, so let's tech enhance your primary care and learning. This is the first time I'm meeting. I'm Dr. Gandalf of EGP Learning, where I look at supporting you with technology-enhanced primary care and learning. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about a device called the KeyQwik that I've been using for several months now, and I must admit has been game-changing in terms of how it's affected my workflow in general practice. It's a 24-key keyboard that has specific keys that allows you to do various shortcuts that should save you time. Now, you all know I love my shortcuts, and sharing and finding these has been an absolute pleasure. But having them used in a way that could be so much easier, that's what KeyQwik allows you to do. If you're not aware, shortcuts are ways that you can press a couple of keys and then that does something that normally would take you a couple of clicks or potentially even more. Common ones most people know about are Control and C to do copy, Control and V to do paste. And if you want to check out some amazing Windows keyboard shortcuts, check out my earlier episode, which will come at the end of this one for you. And would you believe, in most clinical systems there's loads of keyboard shortcuts as well that you can use. But the problem is learning all of them, remembering all of them. Which one do you use and when? And the challenge that poses to most people is then they just default to doing the clicking and the moving and all that kind of stuff that takes more time. It would also be great if you can make some of those shortcuts even quicker so it does multiple key functions in one go. Enter the KeyQwik that allows you to do all of that easily and effectively. So as you can see, it's a small keyboard. It's about the size of a large calculator. It's fairly light. It comes with a USB cord that's attached into it and that you plug into your computer, which is about 2 meters in length. And it comes in two colors at the moment, so this grey color and a black color. But the important part about this device is the keys on it. Each of these is coded to do a particular function that when you press on them, click, it does it there and then. What kind of functions are we talking about? Well, we've got 24 to choose from, and in my particular device, I've got a variety that make my life so much easier. So on this row, I've got my Zoom keyboard shortcuts that allow me to do a variety of things, like for example, switch my mic on and off at the press of a button. It allows me to raise my hand up and down at the press of a button, and it allows me to switch my camera on and off at the press of a button. I'm not having to move my mouse around to get to the right point and get flustered because my mic's off when I'm meant to be talking or vice versa. I'm not having to remember the keyboard shortcuts that most people tend to forget. I can just simply do it, press a button, and move on. Exactly the same for Teams down here at the bottom, but where this device is so unique for general practice is it's got the GP system codes in it as well. So my device is coded for System 1. This does also work for EMIS and for Vision at this moment in time. And you can set those codes to either the set ones that they provide for you, or you can choose your own. What kind of things are we talking about? Well, for example, I've got this one right here that adds a reminder to the patient record when I've got patient's notes open at the press of a button. Awesome. I've got this one here that'll take me straight to the visits function within System 1 so I can see what visits I've got, not have to worry about trying to click on the right place. I've got some workflow ones that allow me to go straight to my pathology results, straight to my tasks, for example. But where I love and absolutely love this device is that it's got some more complex functions in it that allow you to go to really tricky parts within System 1 at the click of a button. In particular, I've got this one here that goes straight to my Med 3s. So if I've got patient open, I can press that and it'll automatically open the Med 3 template so I can start doing that for a patient. Because I really struggle finding that sometimes, even with it being color coded on my patient's notes. But my favorite one is this one, the Pathology ICE button. So by pressing this, I can open the ICE browser within System 1 at the press of a button. Normally, that would take me 4 or 5 clicks depending on where I am in the patient records. That is a game changer for me. And all in all, using these has really helped save me time and reduce my stress when it comes to using particular parts of System 1. Some of you may remember one of my earlier episodes where I talked about going straight to the patient-related tasks and how you can try and streamline that process. Yep, you can set that up yourself if you want to. Alternately, you can use one of these key codes to do it for you at the press of a button. Awesome! As you can tell, I'm a big fan of this particular device. In fact, I'm such a big fan that I'm actually part of the journey of this company. So a lot of the key codes and stuff that you'll see, particularly the System 1 based ones, are ones I've supported them with. And if you were to purchase any of these devices, I may get a small commission by doing so. But that does raise the question of the cost of the device. So the base unit is £49.99. And for that, you can choose which system you want it to use with, and you can add in some extra packages like, do you want it with Zoom, Teams, that kind of stuff as well. If you want to add on more specific codes, then they will cost you a little bit extra. So you're probably thinking, for £50, what can I do myself that means I don't have to spend that kind of money? Well, you could try and remember all the keyboard shortcuts, and I've been doing that for the past couple of years, and I'll be honest, it's tricky to remember all of them. In fact, I tend to only use about 3 or 4 of them most of the time, just because it's so hard to remember to use them all the time. Alternatively, you could try and create your own device like this by buying a really cheap keyboard and recoding it to do these kind of things. Something that looks a bit like this. So this is a 12 key one that I've coded. This cost me about £20 just for the device itself, and then obviously I had to put the work in to code the keys and make sure that they work effectively. Downside is sometimes this requires you to put software onto the computers, and particularly for NHS computers, that can be an issue. Alternately, you could use a keyboard that has macro keys built into it. There's some really cool ones around, like for example the EpoMaker GK96 that I've shared previously, and there's a variety of other ones that you can use that allow you to code macros and stuff really quickly and easily as well. Often these keyboards though do go for about £100 plus for a decent version. If you wanted to purchase a separate device, one you could try something like the Elgato Stream Deck. So it's a little device that specifically is used by a lot of live streamers and YouTubers and that kind of stuff, but easily can be used like this to code for different key codes and that kind of thing, especially for things like Zoom, Teams, all that kind of stuff. There's loads of uses for it. The slight downside to the Stream Deck is A, it's more expensive than this particular device, and secondary, it does require you to put some software onto the computer you're using, which most NHS IT system providers unfortunately won't let you do. It does come with an app that you can use that is considerably cheaper and even has a free function, but again, you still need to put that software onto your PC, and if you don't have the admin rights to do so, most places won't let you do it, I'm afraid. That can also be one of the challenges some of the macro keyboards I mentioned earlier can also come across. That's not a problem for the KeyQwik device. It's recognised automatically as a normal keyboard and works just like that. So the main thing you need is just a spare USB port. As you can tell, I'm a massive fan of this device. That's not to say that the device can't be improved. I think there are aspects that could do a little bit of tinkering to make it better. So personally, I prefer it in pure white just because, well, my keyboard's pure white. Secondly, I would love the option to reprogram some of the keys. At the moment, that's not possible because it needs to be sent back to the manufacturer to do that. But that would be amazing, particularly for future-proofing the device, especially if there are changes by system providers with some of the macro keys and that kind of thing. Additionally, some of the more complex codes sometimes require you to press the button twice to make sure it goes through, and that's due to timing issues with some of the codes and things. But those are really niggly little things. The build of the keyboard is really robust. The fact that the icons are UV printed onto the keys themselves means they're not going to rub off, that they're actually really robust and easy to clean as well. And frankly, it's just awesome. My personal recommendation, stick it on the left-hand side of your keyboard so you can still use your mouse if you're right-handed. But do be aware of the amount of estate it takes on your desktop and stuff in terms of holding it, and you may want to consider a smaller keyboard, which I would always recommend, because the standard Dell ones, to be honest, not a fan. And that's my review of the KeyQwik device. As I said, if you're interested in grabbing one, feel free to use the links down below in the descriptions. As mentioned earlier, that little declaration that if you do purchase a device and use some of the shortcut codes, I may get a small amount from that. But absolutely, this is a device I would recommend that any clinician and non-clinician working in primary care considers having, because it just saves so much time by using it. If you found this useful, leave a like down below. Let me know your comments. Check out this video right here that shows you some of the keyboard shortcuts you may want to consider using if you're not getting this device. Alternatively, YouTube's recommending another one for you right here. And as always, we're here to help save you and your patients time by tech enhancing your primary care and learning. Catch you in the next episode.